Heyo everybody, Haku here with my next read through for Magical Goal Racing Project or Mahou Shoujo Ikusei Keikku episodes 5. So I'm incredibly excited, as I always am. This is our 7th one, so we only have 4 more after this. And I did go ahead and look. After this, I'm going to do Peaceful Days real quick before I get into Queens. I don't think Peaceful Days will really take me that long. I think there's like 11 or 12 chapters in it. But given what it is, maybe the chapters will be a little bit shorter and I can do more than one a week so that we can get through it faster than 11 to 12 weeks. But even if it did take us 11 to 12 more weeks, that's not too much time. There would still, like I said, be content coming constantly that whole time for these little side episodes, because that's what Peaceful Days is as well. Before we get back into the main story, so it wouldn't be that long and there would be this side content for a while. So yeah, might be a little bit of a good few more months until we get back to the main story, but I'm loving this side content. And again, I don't want to rush the main story, because once I finish Queens, I think there's only one more. I think Black maybe is the only other main story content out so far. So once I finish Queens and then do Black, then we're just going to be caught up. And I know there's episodes delta between them. Then we'd be caught up and I wouldn't be able to do anything weekly unless I do like, I don't know what Breakdown is, or is it Breakthrough or Breakdown? I think it's Breakdown. I'm not sure what that is. I know F2P, I guess free to play, is a manga. I could do that, or I could go back through and start doing manga videos on Unmarked and Restart. I think both have manga. I could go back and do that, but yeah, either way, I guess I don't want to catch up too quickly. But when I first clicked onto this one is Three Sisters Raising Project. I feel bad, I haven't even said the title of this episode yet. Three Sisters Raising Project Restart. And my immediate first thoughts were, oh, Three Sisters Raising Project, it's obviously going to be Uluru and Sarami and Sachiko. And I was like, I really like Sarami. I really like Uluru. Sachiko, we really didn't get that much of Sachiko, to tell the truth. But I like them, so I'm excited for that. But then I noticed, I clicked on, I see the 3 pictures here, and this one on this opening page says, this story takes place months before Magical Raising Project Restart. So I had originally was like, oh yeah, it's going to be months before Aces when they showed up. That's how most of these usually go. But no, it's months before Restart. So this is going to be peering back even a little bit further into the lives of these 3. So there could be anything going on here, so that's pretty cool. Even more than there could already be anything going on if it was either way. But either way, I'm going to start reading, and hopefully nothing messes up a bit. My computer and my recording stuff has been acting a little bit weird as I was getting this all set up, but hopefully it'll be fine. So either way, let's get into reading here. Okay, Three Sisters Raising Project Restart, and starting on the second page, it's the wasteland stretched beyond the horizon. Oh, also, before I start, this one, buckle in, is maybe going to be a little bit longer. I don't know if maybe the font or the pacing are different, but this one says 29 pages if I scroll over to the side. So it's going to be a little bit longer than most of these have been. Most of these have been like half that size. The wasteland stretched beyond the horizon. There were no weeds that grew on the ground, and dust clouds rolled in the distance. Looking to the right, still nothing but endless wastes. Looking to the left, the same side again. If you looked up in the sky, you would see the sun shining brightly and feel its heat radiating from above. Within this wasteland, 3 sisters gathered around. Sarami's mouth was half open. She squinted her eyes and stared far away at the distance. Premium Sachiko was crouching while holding her hands to her head. Uluru probably wanted to believe that this was some kind of shared dream or hallucination, judging by her reddening face, but this was very real. Sarami knew that Uluru probably wanted to cower like Sachiko, but as the eldest, she had to take some charge. And that's why Uluru started shouting commands. Form up! Uluru puffed her chest. Sachiko jumped up. Sarami yawned and moved right next to Sachiko. Sis, is this really necessary? Asked Sarami. Protocols or protocol, Sarami? Now, form up, said Uluru. I love Uluru. I love her so much. Whenever I do another favorite characters video, which might not be until after Queens, whenever I do another favorite characters video, I have a feeling Sarami and Uluru, but especially Uluru, are going to be pretty high up there. Sachiko and Sarami lined up side by side, with Uluru standing in front of them. She paced back and forth. Call signs? 1, 2, Uluru breathed in heavily. All right, let's remember the mission. We're supposed to report back to Lady Puck after all this, said Uluru, walking forward. No problem, sis, said Sarami. Sponsorships are important in both the human world and the land of magic. Without the backing of powerful people, there may not be a way for you to launch any big projects. After all, if every huge project was funded, there would be more failures than there would be successes. Puck Puck was one of the 3 sages, and therefore people tend to seek her out as a potential investment partner. Being backed by a sage was both a great honor and ensures your project will at least take off. One day, Puck Puck received an email from a potential applicant. Usually it's very hard to get a sage's approval, but this applicant had a very straightforward attitude, and their offer interested Puck Puck. A simulation game that's so real. Is this going to be Keek? I was thinking when I first went on to this, or not when I first went on to it, but when they first started talking about describing the place they were in, it reminded me of Restart. Because as you all know, I talk about Restart way too much. But yeah. Applicant had a straightforward attitude, and their offer interested Puck Puck. A simulation game that's so real that it can serve as virtual reality, as a virtual reality training sim. The applicant boasted that they could make any simulation possible, helping to train future magical girls in safety with using their magic. It seemed like a very useful device to have, and so, after considering it, Puck Puck decided to back the project. It was apparently a magical girl from the newly formed IT division who sent the request. She wished to inspect the project herself, as Puck Puck almost always does everything in person. However, whenever Puck Puck goes out, her daughters, especially Uluru, insist on being by her side. Like an entourage and her personal guard, Puck Puck welcomed her daughters with open hands. And of course it makes absolute sense why Puck Puck meets everybody in person, given her abilities. Puck Puck changed clothes to an elegant meeting dress. She dressed in a Rococo-style dress, like she came out of Fragonard's paintings. Together they went to the address of the applicant. When they arrived there, they found out it was some dirty, messy office, with computers placed everywhere and objects scattered around. There are people who live like this? This doesn't seem to be a proper place to welcome someone like Puck Puck, but if Puck Puck's okay with it, then her daughters will be okay with it. There was a girl in a chair. She turned around, and upon sight of Puck Puck and her daughters, she smiled happily. Ah, welcome. Welcome to my world. Glasses, lab coat, light swimwear. Purple hair, Rubik's Cube on her neck. I really like Keek's design. She seemed eager, though, which was a good sign. Though she could greet Puck Puck personally, it would only be proper. Puck Puck stepped forward and smiled. Hiya, Keek. Nice to meet you. It's an honor, great Puck Puck, said Keek as she rolled down her sleeves to shake hands with Puck Puck. The magical girl Keek was the applicant that offered the plan to Puck Puck. Puck Puck laughed as she shook Keek's hand, and Keek also laughed as well. Another thing I like about these episodes is how it draws these connections between all the different arcs. That's another aspect I really enjoy with these. And how all these characters and the things they do kind of connect together. She urged Puck Puck to sit on a nearby sofa. Puck Puck took the center, but when she sat on it, the ends of the sofa had their springs break out. Old busted sofa. Sachiko slowly crouched down. It looked like she wanted to sit on the floor. Uluru lightly elbowed Sachiko while clearing her throat. Sachiko stood up straight again. Keek adjusted her glasses. Well then, let's begin. About my plan. Slam. The door was kicked open. On the other side of the door was another magical girl. Black and white striped shirt, blonde hair, leather bow tie, and spike decorations, and a strange out-of-this-world guitar. Wait, hold up. I guess, yeah, now that I think about it, Top Pop did meet Keek in the other episode, didn't she? That's so strange. I didn't expect this. now I'm just trying to remember back to the Top Pop episode and all the things that happened there. She even had a mischievous smile on her. Uluru instinctively aimed her pop gun at her, but Puck Puck quickly jumped out and restrained her. "It's fine, Uluru. I think she's a good girl," said Puck Puck. "That's right. You don't have to worry about me. I'm everyone's favorite idol, Top Pop," shouted the girl, posing for effect. I love this because we have all these connections with the rebellion of Tot Pop and her sort of, I don't know, weird manipulative personality and everything like that, plus like a legitimate manipulative personality because that's her whole thing with Puck Puck and her daughters getting involved with this, and the setup for Restart since this happened before then, obviously, with Keik. It's fine, Uluru. I think she's a good girl. Okay, I read that one. Behind Puck Puck's group, Keik was rolling her eyes and breathing in a heavy sigh. "I didn't call you. Don't care. Leave." "Nah, Tot, I swear." "Hey, you're the one who said you'd play with me today, right? I came. You can't just tell me to go back home. I'm a little busy today, Tot. If you don't realize it, I'm having a meeting with someone very, very important." "Doesn't matter. You invited me, so I get first dibs. There's a limit to how much I can deal with you, Tot. Now go home." Puck Puck came in between the two. All right. Let's just relax a bit. You're Tot, right? Sorry to interrupt your meeting. Our schedules must have clashed. Totally my bad. Let's all just talk together, all right?" said Puck Puck. Tot nodded and glanced at Keik. "See, she's cool with it, so chillax." Top Pop took a seat on the sofa, stretching her legs to cover the whole couch, and she relaxed by leaning backwards. The fact that she didn't apologize to Puck Puck and took her entire sofa made Uluru a bit irritated. Sachiko gave Sarami a "what should we do" face. Sarami calmed her down. Tot's a pretty cool name for a rock star," said Puck Puck. "Aw shucks, thanks. See, Keik, she gets me. I like her," said Top Pop. "This nuisance always causes trouble, and it's better if we have our meetings without her," complained Keik. Don't worry, it's perfectly fine," said Puck Puck, not even losing her cool, acting calm around everyone. In fact, she continued on. "Actually, you three, mind if I get the room to myself and these two?" The three sisters glanced at each other, slightly taken aback by the suggestion. They weren't really keen on leaving Puck Puck alone. "Keik, is there a waiting room or something?" asked Puck Puck. Keik sighed. She nodded, and she snapped her fingers. A mosaic pattern gathered around the walls, and a door appeared on the walls. The three sisters opened the door and walked through it. Uluru looked back at Puck Puck. "You sure about this, Lady Puck?" she asked. "I'll be fine. It's better if I talk in private anyways," said Puck Puck. When they passed through the door slammed shut, and they couldn't hear a single thing from the other room. "You sure this is okay?" asked Sachiko nervously. "It'll be fine, Sachiko. Lady Puck said so. We shouldn't worry too much," said Sarami, patting her sister on the back. "Don't just assume things you don't even know. We really don't know if she's going to be okay with those two," shouted Uluru. Uluru flailed her arms around while shouting at her sisters, and her arm hit a nearby shelf. It shook and books fell from it, creating dust that Uluru breathed in and coughed out. "You should be more careful, sis," said Sarami calmly. "God, this place is ridiculous. I thought the last room was messy, but this, how do you even top this?" said Uluru. The room seemed to be some kind of storeroom. Lots of junk and other things piled up on the floor. It's a bit cramped too, thanks to the messiness of the room. I'm a little disappointed when they said the books and the shelf and stuff. I was wondering if this was going to be the library type room that what's her name died in. The Miko. Yeah, the weeb Miko. I totally forget her name because it was a Japanese name now, though. Oh god. See, this is what I hate about not remembering things in the middle of videos, because I know I'm going to get a million comments saying the same thing if I don't remember this. But you know who I'm talking about, obviously, Miko Girl. And that's where Rionetta got her arm hurt too. That's what I remember even more, is Rionetta getting her arm hurt there. Miyokata, that was her name. I almost don't even remember Miyokata dying there. Okay. Yeah, it's a little dusty. Yeah, said Sarami. Can't stand being in this room for a few minutes, let alone the amount of time Lady Puck's gonna spend talking to them, said Uluru, irritated. We should spend the time doing something to distract us then, like cleanup duty, suggested Sarami. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's all do cleanup duty. This room's filled with so much trash that I'm sure by the time we finish up, they'll be done discussing. Come on, Sachiko, you help too, said Uluru. Can I get a seat after? Asked Sachiko. Uluru sighed. I don't know how you always get tired. You're almost as bad as Sarami. The sisters didn't really know if the room was wide or narrow. The multitude of items and boxes blocked visibility. They couldn't even see where the walls were. So they started to separate the boxes and begin stacking them up. There were apparently tables too, hidden amongst all the machinery, garbage, and other things that shouldn't even belong here. Sarami's face was that of joy, but Sachiko's face was nervous, trying to find the best items to pick up and put down. Or this storeroom could be interesting. Since we know that there are books there and there's pieces of machinery there, maybe this is just like part of when Keik was doing setup for the game world and Restart. Some of the machine parts are like from the futuristic area, and some of the books are from the library area maybe. But either way, machinery garbage shouldn't even belong here. Sarami's face was that of joy, but Sachiko's face was nervous, trying to find the best items to pick up and put down. Uluru, meanwhile, tried to work as fast as possible. She was a diligent girl, but the sight of this trash is making her angry, so she began working a bit sloppily, doing her best to speed up the process. It didn't help that every time she moved something, dust seemed to blow into her face, causing her to cough once again. At one point, she coughed and took a step back, and the butt of her pop gun tangled with a table, causing it to tilt and causing some heavy machinery to fall down to the floor. When that happened, she saw a bright light that flooded the entire room. Now, the three of them were in this wasteland. So, everybody saw that light, right? Asked Uluru. Mm-hmm, replied Sarami. So, we all agree on our story? Asked Uluru. Yep, said Sarami, nodding. Good. Good. So, were we going to tell them that you pushed a switch that brought us all here? Because that's what happened, asked Sarami while smiling. Stop saying it's my fault, shouted Uluru, face reddening. But sis, it really is your fault. I saw it using my powers, said Sarami, finger on her chin. Well, you can't just say things like that to Lady Puck. Not so casually, too, muttered Uluru. Sachiko looked around. Does anyone know where we are? Uluru and Sarami noticed their surroundings as well. Are we even in Japan? Asked Sarami. Doesn't matter. What matters is we're going home. If we meet any bandits or thieves, I'll handle them, said Uluru, reaching for her pop gun on her back. I love Uluru so much. The way she's just so serious and aggro towards everything, but she just has this cute little chibi magical girl design with her little pop gun, and she's adorable. But there was no pop gun on Uluru's back. Uluru grasped nothing but air. She patted herself on the back, checking everything. She took off her coat and sweeped it across the ground, searching for it. Her face reddened again. Where's my gun? I don't have my rifle with me, said Uluru, panicking. That's fine, sis. It's just a toy gun, so it shouldn't really matter, said Sarami cheerfully. It's not a toy. It's an actual weapon. It's also important, said Uluru. I'm not saying it's not a weapon, just that it doesn't fire any bullets, said Sarami. Uluru grumbled angrily. But she noticed Sachiko was trembling even more than usual. She pointed at a distance. Uluru tried to see what it was she was pointing at. A bit far from them, or looking a little drunk, was the silhouette of a human. Wait, something's off. It had no skin. It wasn't a human, it was a skeleton. Kyam! Sachiko screamed, but Sarami immediately grabbed her sister and closed her mouth. Too late. The skeleton faced toward them and walked slowly. Further skeletons seemed to pop up out of the ground and begin walking towards them as well. So again, I like this. We're seeing like the early stages of the magic world that Restart was set in. Was this magic? It's okay. I'll just use my own magic, said Uluru. She clapped her hands and rubbed them together, breathing in slowly. Then she clasped her hands on the side of her mouth and shouted, If you move a single step, you'll die. Uluru's magical skill is the ability to tell believable lies. And I love Uluru's magical skill as well, of course. Whatever Uluru says, whether it's a lie or the truth, will be believed by anyone who hears and understands her. It doesn't change reality, but the target will believe them. However, the skeletons kept walking towards her. Uluru gulped. I mean, they're technically already dead, said Sarami. You're really not helping here, Sarami, said Uluru. That was good. Maybe they don't understand you. They don't have ears, said Sarami again. Okay, you know what? Let's all just shut up and fight them, okay? Said Uluru. The three magical girls charged toward the skeletons. Uluru punched them, Sarami kicked them, and Sachiko screamed while punching and kicking them. The sisters fought in a circle, back to back, protecting each other, and after the coast is clear, they sat down. Beep, beep, beep. A ringing noise was heard, and Sarami checked on her pocket. Her magical phone was ringing, and so was everyone else's. Sarami turned it on. You have defeated the skeleton group. The tutorial is now complete. You have gained 8 magical candies. What's this? Looks like something out of a game, said Uluru outside. What's a magical candy? Asked Sachiko nervously. Sorry, girls, I really don't know what's going on either, said Sarami. This just made me get some kind of weird nostalgia and miss something. You know what I miss about every arc after Restart, which is been the majority of the series since we've been reading? Every arc since Restart hasn't had any game elements to it, and I like that not all of them do. I like that Joker's doesn't have any game elements, because Joker's tells a really specific story that's really good on its own. But I think having some more arcs with game elements to them, like the first two, like Unmarked and Restart had, I think that would actually be really good for the future. Just to see another arc like that here and there. Not every arc, but just every couple arcs have one that has some of those elements to it. Because this made me realize that I kind of missed that. What's this? Looks like something out of a game, said Uluru outside. What's a magical candy? Asked Sachiko nervously. Sorry, girls, I really don't know what's going on either, said Sarami. The three sisters discussed what happened. The bright light, the fact that they were transported somewhere, the skeletons that attacked them so suddenly, the magical candy thing that just happened. Sarami's eyes widened. Wait, I think we have something, she said as she navigated through her magical phone. There, the title of the game. Magical Girl Raising Project. Wait, isn't that the title of the project she was working on? Asked Uluru. It seems so, sis. Little weird, but fun, said Sarami. Why the hell would she need to fund a project she's already completed? Asked Uluru. Maybe this is a beta version, asked Sarami. Looks like we can change modes, said Sachiko, browsing the menus. Huh? What do you mean? What's this? Oh god. What's this R18 mode? Asked Sachiko, as her finger slowly went to press it. Ah, Uluru shouted as she grabbed Sachiko's finger and pulled it away. Don't touch things you don't know about, said Uluru. I love Uluru. I never thought I'd be trapped in a game world. This is kind of fun, said Sarami. Of course Sarami would think that. How can you say that at a time like this? Asked Uluru. Well, there's a first time for everything, and it's not all bad, right? Asked Sarami. And I love the Sarami and Uluru dynamic throughout both Aces and this. The way that they're both the straight man and the sort of comedy fool part of the comedy duo in different ways at the same time. Uluru's incredibly straight-laced, but she's also way over the top serious to the point of the seriousness being the comedy, being the funny thing, being the silly joke. Whereas Sarami is the sort of chill, wisecracking, calm and relaxed one, but she's also the just sort of smart, contemplative type of straight man as well, who is sort of just taking the piss out of everything that's going on. So again, it's really, really interesting, the dynamic between the two of them. Well, there's a first time for everything, and it's not all bad, right? Asked Sarami. Guys, look at this, said Sachiko, nervously pointing at the screen of her magical phone. You may only leave the game if you clear all the areas. What do we do? Asked Sachiko. We shouldn't worry. Lady Puck will notice we're missing, and we also have the game creator too. They'll get us out, said Uluru. Well, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Sachiko offered her phone again. Time passes faster in the game than in real life. Uluru gulped. Sarami, can you find out more instructions? Asked Uluru. I can try, sis, said Sarami, checking on her magical phone. After a while, she summarized all of the information she got. Magical candies are the currency of the game. They're collected by defeating monsters in the game and are used to buy tools in shops like weapons and armor. Shops exist within towns, small pockets of civilization in each area of the game. To complete the game, they have to defeat a final boss called the Great Dragon. Then they win the game. Also in this world, magical girls have to deal with human issues such as tiredness, hunger, and sleep, buy food in the shops, or they'll starve to death. I like this. So the dragon was kind of like, almost even kind of like a midway point, like a sub-boss or a demi-boss for the girls in Restart. So it's interesting that this is sort of like, they get to play the beta version, like the first half of the game here. Alright. With every word that Uluru read, her face became pale, and she wanted to cry out loud, but she was the eldest, and she was the captain of the guard. She can't show that kind of weakness. She puffed out her chest. All right, it's clear what we have to do. We have to find the nearest town and buy some equipment there. Come on, we can't waste any time, said Uluru. The three sisters walked their way to the nearest town they could find. It wasn't hard, since there was nothing around the wasteland. All they had to do was find the towering, bustling cityscape. When they got close, they found themselves in a medieval-looking city with several people walking around. They didn't seem to notice them, nor did they seem to care. Oh, are these NPCs? Wondered Sarami out loud. What's an NPC? Asked Sachiko. Non-player characters. Characters controlled by the game. Come on, there should be a shop right here, said Uluru. The humans didn't interact with the sisters unless they talked to them. They really did behave like actual NPCs. They answered questions vaguely or directly, but every question was met with the same set of answers. This is the something-something town, so it seems like the town wasn't even named yet. The shop's in the city somewhere. You need to pay with magical candies. Since there were NPCs that were supposed to be human, Uluru took this time to test out her powers. Okay. The sky's gonna fall soon, said Uluru. The bystanders that heard her were scared for their lives and took shade in the buildings. Okay, so Uluru's powers weren't disabled. That's a good thing. Perhaps the skeletons really were deaf, technically. That or they just didn't care or couldn't understand her. By the way, if this is a European city, why are you speaking Japanese? Asked Uluru. The NPC shrugged it off. Wow, if you're gonna design a game, at least make it consistent. They reached the shop. They saw a variety of items being sold there, including weapons and a ticket. Uluru browsed it and saw a weapon called Rifle. It looked similar to Uluru's original pop gun, though this time it looked like it came from the Renaissance era. My gun! I can buy my gun! But we don't have enough candies. Uluru cleared her throat. Excuse me, sir. We paid for this gun earlier, but forgot to pick it up. Could you give it to us? Asked Uluru. The shopkeeper scratched his head. If you paid for it, you should have gotten it. You deposit candies here, and the item is transferred to your magical phones, he said. Uluru's magic is useless. It's not the usual kind of shop where you could get something cheap by lying. They had to actually put in the work of collecting magical candies. I love how Uluru just basically tried to rob this place. Let me get some water really quick. Alright, now we are on page 14. It's the spirit of the game, sis. It makes a lot of sense, said Sarami. Sarami, being a gamer herself, has determined the game's objectives. Like a typical RPG, you're supposed to defeat enemies, get magical candies, use it to buy better gear, and defeat bigger enemies. Eventually, you'll have sufficient equipment and gear to defeat the final boss. There was also a preserved food that was sold in the shops, for hunger needs. However, it seems the weapons are unique for each magical girl. Sarami and Sachiko both had unique weapons as well. My weapon is nunchucks, game controller nunchucks, connected with a string. Ah, so cool, said Sarami happily. Mine's just a knife. I used a knife in one of the training sessions with Lady Puck, so I guess that's my weapon, said Sachiko, slightly disappointed. It's settled. The sisters will grind for candies by defeating the skeletons, which seemed easy enough to defeat, then purchase weapons and progress through the game. The sisters search for the skeleton groups. Each time they approach them as a group. Uluru always led the charge, handling a majority of the skeletons. Sarami also did her best in fighting. Due to the weak bodies of the skeleton hordes, she doesn't really have to try that hard. Sachiko was actually having fun and going all out and fighting, punching them, roundhouse kicking them, and throwing them to each other. Sachiko, you got really excited all of a sudden, said Uluru. Yes, sis, you're not usually this energetic. It feels good to fight alongside your sisters. Huh, asked Sarami. These things aren't alive, and I haven't really gotten a chance to practice the moves I've learned. So for the first time, I can actually be free, said Sachiko, hitting and punching the skeletons. She's actually kind of scary like this, said Sarami nervously. They've gotten enough magical candy. They used it to buy some preserved food, head back into the wasteland, and defeat more skeletons, coming back to the store when they have enough candies. Finally, they had enough candy to purchase their own weapons. Uluru didn't waste any time. She purchased her new rifle. Alright. Okay, just taking that in again. But it was a strange design. It looked like a rifle, and it had the word rifle printed onto the barrel, but... Ooh, that's not a single-shot rifle. That's full auto. That's not exactly following Japanese law, sis, said Sarami. Don't worry, we're in a game. You're supposed to fire these kinds of guns in games. It's safe. Uluru had always longed for a gun that can fire actual bullets. Being the captain of the guard with a non-functioning gun was never a good thing. She thought that in this game world she could finally have the luxury to fire a gun, feel the muzzle burn, and see the black smoke rising out as she defeated an enemy with it. It made her feel powerful. The girls moved on to the next area, purchasing a ticket to move forward. There they encountered their latest enemy, red skeletons. What's these? Rare enemies? Asked Uluru. Rare, wondered Sachiko out loud. Usually rare enemies drop more loot and items, so we should try defeating them, said Sarami happily. Don't worry, I've got this. Uluru stepped in front of her sisters, aimed at the horde of red skeletons, and pulled the trigger. The sound of bullets ripping through the air was deafening, repeating chains of loud explosions being fired from the muzzle of Uluru's rifle. Unfortunately, it seemed like none of the bullets were actually hitting their mark. The recoil was far too powerful, and Uluru was firing in all directions. The red skeletons moved faster. Uluru realized that she can't hit anything with this kind of tactic, so she decided it's better off to beat down the red skeletons. As usual, the three sisters fought off the horde rather easily, with Uluru using her rifle as a melee weapon yet again. Did you miss all your shots on purpose, sis? Asked Sarami. No, I was aiming for the skeleton, said Uluru. Oh, so the recoil's just too big then, said Sarami. No, it's not. I just had a split-second realization that ranged attacks are bad for them. Yeah, said Uluru, embarrassed. This is actually funny, because the red skeletons did have some sort of ability. Were they the ones that the ranged attacks were bad for? I think they might have actually been. Were the red skeletons the one? Now that I'm thinking about it, are they the ones that if you tried to hit them with a ranged attack, your attack would be reflected back on you, and that's what took out Magical Daisy, because she had been killing the regular skeletons with the Daisy beam, so then she tried to use it on the red skeletons. So did Uluru just narrowly avoid disaster by missing? That's really funny and creative. I almost forgot they did have a special ability like that. That's great. The girls proceeded forward into the next area, and this one looked very mountainous and volcanic. The enemies here are different from their usual skeleton hordes. The enemies here looked like pointy-eared demonic goblins from those legends. Ah, Goblin-kun! Some of them are even huge and muscular. The demons even have armor and weapons of their own. Don't worry, Team Uluru, these guys are just skeletons in different forms, said Uluru. Really? Then they should be easy, said Sachiko. Team Uluru tried to fight off the demons and ogres, but when they did, they realized their weapons did little to no damage, and the demons and ogres managed to beat them up so badly that they had to retreat. Team Uluru ran away as soon as a gigantic version of an ogre showed up. Muscular, 2 horns, and sharp teeth. Sarami understood the rules of the game, and she told the team to head toward the nearest town. Despite the monsters chasing them almost all the way, when they reached the town, the monsters all stopped and went back to their natural habitat. How did you know? Asked Uluru. 'Cause the town's a safe place, with shops. No RPG would attack you when you're in a shop or resting, said Sarami happily. But Team Uluru had failed. Despite Uluru convincing her sisters that the enemies were just reskinned skeletons, that's far from the truth. These monsters were somehow stronger than magical girls and harder to defeat with their current weapons. Uluru made the conclusion that the best way to defeat the demons and ogres is to purchase better gear. The game really does want them to level up. However, they didn't have enough candy and they couldn't collect any in this area, which means... do we have to backtrack, asked Sarami? We need magical candies. Come on, form up, said Uluru. I think I might be getting tired, said Sachiko nervously. Despite not wanting to, they backtracked back to the previous two areas. They recollected magical candy by defeating the skeleton enemies. Whenever they encountered a red skeleton, Uluru would try her luck, only to find that the recoil of the rifle was still too great to fire properly. Finally, they had enough candies to purchase new weapons, weapons +1, which included the rifle +1, nunchucks +1, and knife +1. These should be better weapons to handle those demons and ogres, and it was. With these weapons, Team Uluru easily defeated the ogres and demons. They went to a bar and ordered wine to celebrate, but they ran out of candy, so they just had to celebrate quietly with 3 glasses of water instead. 1 hour later, the 3 sisters ran as fast as possible. Their faces were that of fear, and behind them a horde of 100 demons was chasing them relentlessly. They ran across the mountain roads, finally avoiding the demonic horde. Thanks to the rules of the game, they were tired. Our weapons didn't work as well as we thought, said Uluru. Maybe. We overestimated our weapons, said Sarami. I can't do this, said Sachiko. The blazing sunlight was making them heat up. They were tired as well from all the fighting that they did. The skill gap was huge. There was no way to compensate that even with the weapons they have. Not acceptable. I'm not going to accept that the Puck honor guard is weaker than some low-rate ogre, said Uluru. Maybe we just don't have to fight them, said Sachiko. Sarami's eyes brightened up. There are games like that. So that's how it's going to be. That's interesting, said Sarami. Uluru looked confused, but Sarami calmly explained to her older sister. Certain games don't have combat as the main mechanic. Some games rely more on avoiding a powerful enemy entirely. These are known as stealth games. Sarami suggested that instead of going through the game as warriors, they should go in as scouts instead. So the 3 began scouting for demon and ogre patrols and making sure to pass through when they were few and far between. This ensured that they can defeat them without even fighting them. However, even if they figured that out, getting out of the mountain area was a bit harder than the wasteland or grassland areas. They needed to purchase an app called Translator-kun. Afterward, they had to go find ancient scrolls and texts and use Translator-kun to decipher it. After that, they had to solve the mysteries and puzzles that they got from the translated text. To add to that, they still have to sneak past enemies as well. The process of doing this took a little over, probably 2 weeks in-game. Finally, they advanced to the next area, the cave area. They escaped the demons and ogres. They don't have to deal with hordes of them chasing after the sisters all the time. However, the enemy they faced was much harder in comparison. Large, about 50 meters in length and a 30-meter wingspan. It had hard scales they could penetrate bullets, or I guess they mean the bullets couldn't penetrate, and breathed fire that could melt the rocks of the cavern. Shooting it with Uluru's upgraded rifle didn't work either. Are you kidding me right now? We should run. The 3 sisters ran across the caverns, with the dragon following behind them. As soon as they got out of the cave area's exit, the dragon didn't pursue them further, due to not being in its designated area. But they were suddenly targeted by laser-powered sniper rifles. Okay, I like this in that we're seeing how powerful the dragon is when it's not a situation of having somebody as powerful as Melville with everybody else helping them to kill it. Alright, and judging by the sniper rifles, I guess they exited the cave into the futuristic area. Go back. No matter what lies out there, the dragon should technically be easier to deal with. They decided to run the other direction. That's when they had to go through the dragon. They all ran underneath the dragon as the dragon struggled to catch all of them. The sisters made a blitz through the caverns to try and escape certain death, but someone was lagging behind. Uluru looked to her side. Sachiko. Premium Sachiko was running slower than all of them, and the dragon was about to attack her with its claws. Sachiko, duck. Sachiko dived forward and the dragon missed its swing. In response, it began to launch a fireball at Sachiko's position. Sachiko got up and jumped away, but the blast propelled her forward as she rolled across the cavern floor, straight to some sharp rocks. "Sis, look out," said Sarami, tackling Sachiko and changing her trajectory. Sarami couldn't stop her, but Sachiko avoided the rocks, only to fall off the rocky cliffside. "Sachiko!" She rushed toward the cliffside, sliding down and picking up the unconscious Sachiko, placing her on Ularu's back. The sisters ran away back towards the mountain area's town, believing that there's a better way to handle the dragon. When they escaped to the mountain area, the first thing they saw was the ogre staring at them through the exit cave. The sisters split off and were once again chased by a horde of demons and ogres. "Who was the one who who told us that demons were just reskinned skeletons again?" asked Sarami. "Shut up. Just run, okay? I want to go home," moaned Sachiko from behind Ularu. "What kind of training simulation is this supposed to be? They said that this is a game that's supposed to train magical girls, but even veterans like the sisters were having a hard time. How are newbies supposed to stand a chance?" At the town, Ularu noticed new items being added to the shop. In addition to the usual items, there was now a mysterious box with an R on it. And see, this is cool that they're noting even veteran magical girls, like Puck Puck's own daughters, are having trouble with these enemies. And that's because these enemies were made to be really tough, even for children of Clamberry who were trained in killing tests, who would obviously be incredibly strong when it came to combat because of the test that they were in. Alright. What's this R mean? Asked Ularu. According to the rules of the game, it's like a lottery, said Sarami. A lottery? Ah, then Sachiko's perfect. Come on, Sachiko, it's only 100 magical candies. I bet this is the key we need. You've practically got luck on your side, said Ularu. Okay then. Sachiko deposited 100 magical candies and got the R box. She opened the contents only to find preserved food. Well, it is based on luck. We should try again. Come on, Sachiko, you can do it. Sachiko tried again and again, spending 100 magical candies 4 more times. Each time they got preserved food. Hey, this thing's supposed to be random, right? Said Ularu, irritated. I only have enough to buy 1 more. And of course we know that though it's random, the percentages were like really crazy and weird in Restart as well. Hey, this thing's supposed to be random, right? Said Ularu, irritated. I only have enough to buy 1 more, said Sachiko. Ularu nodded. Do it, Sarami. Use your magic to check the box, too. Okay. Sachiko purchased the box and gave it to Sarami. She placed her hands on it, calmly looking up at the sky while smiling. She waited about 30 seconds as if she noticed something. Ularu stared at her sister, waving her hand in front of Sarami's eyes. Hello, Sarami? You there? Sarami raised her right palm, signaling Ularu to wait. After a while, she smiled wider, and she nodded. I've got it, she said. So what's inside the box? Asked Ularu. No, sis, not the box. The game. The entire game is a closed space. That means I can use my magic to know everything about it. Silly me, I should have noticed earlier. Oh, and of course we know that she can do this because, didn't she do it with Snow White and Fall's ability? I thought she did, at least. But, this means I can use my magic to know everything about it. Silly me, I should have noticed earlier. Sarami's magical skill was the ability to know the contents of anything sealed. It didn't matter if it was a box, a CD, a storeroom, or a pocket world of a game. So long as there's no way in and out, the space is closed from the outside, Sarami will know. In fact, the more sealed it is, the more accurate Sarami's power becomes. Since the game is basically a pocket dimension, it's completely closed off to outsiders, meaning Sarami knows exactly where everything is. Just earlier, the sisters had pale, tired faces, but now Sarami's face had regained her color again. She was far more confident once more. Ularu gasped, and her face also regained color. Her eyes are now full of hope. Sachiko got off of Ularu. Her face was red and happy. She hugged Sarami, her eyes full of tears. So, you know everything about the game. We can get out of here, said Sachiko happily. Sis, don't swear around too much, Alright, yes. Who would have thought Who would have thought we got our own living cheat code? Amazing work, Sarami. As expected, of a member of the guard, said Uluru proudly. Wait, sis, it's not as easy as that. Don't get the wrong idea, said Sarami nervously. Perhaps it's faster to actually show her sisters than trying to explain everything. Sarami took a deep breath. Hey, follow me, as she ran off. Or she said as she ran off. Uluru and Sachiko looked at each other and tried to keep up with Sarami, who was uncharacteristically faster for once. Sarami usually hates not being idle or being lazy, so it's unnatural for her to suddenly be active and running like this. Right, let me grab some water really quick. Meaning that if Sarami decided to be active, there's something important she wants to show them. The three sisters are faster than the average magical girl. They trained in Puck Manor almost every day, learning how to run and some basic combat. They entered the cave area. Sarami stopped at an intersection. Alright, follow me closely, okay? There's traps all around here, she said, urging caution. Sarami entered the crossroads and easily found the hidden doors required to get past the traps and mazes. She found the right key to open the locked doors almost immediately, as if she had an entire strategy guide in her head. Finally, they reached a grand room, and Sarami pointed at something. That's the great dragon. If we want to escape the game, we have to kill it. In the room was a gigantic dragon, bigger than the normal dragons found in the cave area. This dragon was about twice as long and had twice the wingspan. The large size of it, combined with the confined area-like shape of the room, means that there's almost no way to fight it other than head-on. Are you sure it's safe to be here? asked Sachiko nervously. Haha, don't worry. As long as you don't go over the red line, we're safe. If you're over it, the great dragon will instantly burn you. The flames are instant death, so be careful, said Sarami. How are we supposed to beat that? What equipment do we need? Asked Uluru. Since we're still in tutorial mode, according to the stats I've seen in the game, we need at least +3 stuff to beat it. For now, let's all go back to town, said Sarami happily, dragging her sisters away again. The sisters went back to the nearest town, headed to the bar, and ordered 3 glasses of wine. You're seriously suggesting that we fight the thing head-on? Asked Uluru. There's no other way to get out of the game, said Sarami. Okay, well, you're sure we'd need +3? It's the best we can get for now, but be careful of the flames. There's about a 1 in 10,000 chance of surviving a hit. Sachiko quietly drank her whole bottle of wine. Her cheeks became red and her eyes were glazed. Suddenly, her head slammed against the table and she was fast asleep. Uluru took a small glance at her sister and decided to leave her be, chalking it up to tiredness. Do we have any kind of plan? Maybe we should. I don't know, level up? This game has no level up, sis. It's all equipment based. It mimics real life, otherwise. What about critical hits? Can't a critical hit work? Not in the way you think. Other than equipment stats, this game is a simulation of real life, but we're no longer all powerful here, said Sarami. Sachiko climbed up on the table. Her eyes were glazed and her cheeks were red. She looked tired and irritated. Only then did they notice that Sarami's wineglass was also empty and being held by Sachiko. Uluru looked at her sister with surprise. Sachiko, wait, the wine here affects magical girls. Well, this is a training simulation for magical girls, so magical girls get affected by hunger and alcohol here, said Sarami. Sachiko took out a large piece of paper from her dress. She laid it out on the table. She groggily pointed at it. We need to use this. Got it? Sachiko's contract is her magical skill. With the contract, there's a guaranteed success for any action or event you wish to happen, though the downside is that after that you'll be plagued with extremely bad luck. Usually means death. Uluru gulped. Sachiko, you're drunk. You usually aren't so eager to use your magic. I don't think that's a good idea, since you could, die and all. Sachiko grumbled angrily. She got on all fours and crawled closer toward Uluru. Okay, and we have drunk Sachiko as the illustration. And I love just Sarami shucking it up, just enjoying all of this pretty much. What's that hanging out of her mouth, though? Weird. I love seeing Uluru again, though. She's so adorable. It was great. Alright, we're at page 26. I'm not saying we use it, my magic, Works for monsters too. Works for anything they can write. They're all NPCs anyway. I don't think they'd agree to that if they know the risks, Sachiko. They have no guarantee, and we can't prove that it works to them without using it ourselves, said Uluru, getting even more nervous as Sachiko got angrier. Sachiko pointed her finger and thrust it at Uluru's chest, pushing her backwards as she crawled forward. Are you seriously this dense? You can lie to them, you liar! That's your thing, isn't it? Wow, okay, calm down, Sachiko. I love that line. You can lie to them, you liar. That's your thing, isn't it? Sarami patted her older sister on the back. She was just as nervous as Uluru as well. Haha, sis, I think what Uluru meant was that she can't speak to the monsters even if she wanted to. Sachiko turned her glare over to Sarami, who also backed away, partly out of fear. Sachiko's face was all red, and her face was that of annoyance and anger. We have a translator, said Sachiko, pulling out her magical phone, showing them the Translator-kun app. Sarami and Uluru looked at each other, realizing that it was that simple all this time. You know what would be the funniest thing ever? If the one who signed the contract was Goblin-kun, and that's why his fate was what it was in Restart. That would be the funniest callback. I really hope that happens. Alright. They went toward a horde of demons and ogres. Uluru used the Translator-kun app to talk to the monsters. Translator-kun isn't just able to translate fictional game languages, but any language into any other language. That included the monster's speech. If you defeat the Great Dragon, you'll get anything you ever wanted. To defeat the Great Dragon, all you need to do, you need to sign this. You need to all sign this contract," said Uluru. The monsters happily agreed, and with over 100 Sachiko-powered demons rushing for the Great Dragon, the fight ended very shortly. Alright. The fires never hit the horde, and even if it did, only light burns happened. Everything seemed to happen just according to the horde's favor. The dragon would lose its footing, the horde would be able to outmaneuver it. Every strike caused the dragon pain, and in only 3 to 5 minutes the great dragon was defeated. The three sisters exited the storeroom, only to find Keik groaning and rubbing her forehead, and Puck Puck and Top Pop wrapping their hands around each other's shoulders. Okay. Oh, hi girls, hope that didn't take too long. I was just making friends with these two and my best buddy Top Pop. Yep, sorry you missed out on the fun. Don't worry though, Tot's got your back if you ever need her, said Top Pop, grinning. Anyway, your proposal sounds pretty good if it's true, Keik, so I think I'll sponsor the project, said Puck Puck. Really? So you'll give me the funding, the yen I need? Asked Keik, her face grinning with happiness. Yep, just so long as it passes the first trial stage, okay? Said Puck Puck. Of course. I already have a personal beta ready for release. Wait, don't release that beta, said Uluru. Puck Puck and Keik tilted their heads. Oh, you girls know about the beta? Asked Puck Puck. Yeah, we played it back in the room. Yeah, I have some suggestions if you're actually going to go through with this game, said Uluru. Well, I'd say that the public version will... Now, Keik, you just got a free test from my daughters. You should listen to their opinions and change the game accordingly, okay? Oh, okay, Lady Puck, said Keik, shrugging her shoulders. Uluru then filled out the questionnaire, not hesitating to lash out at any criticism. First, you need to have some kind of map. Uluru's experience with the game relying on Sarami's magic meant that it was near impossible to find a map. Lower the damn difficulty. That mountain area is impossible to go through. Hordes of demons waiting for you really isn't the best option. The Great Dragon's too powerful. Make the area larger, give some breathing space, and make sure that the equipment they need can actually defeat it. There was no possible way of beating the Great Dragon without Sachiko's luck magic. It's as if it was rigged to be unbeatable, of course. Solving hundreds of puzzles in the mountain area? Just one really hard puzzle is enough. It took them over 2 weeks to complete that mountain area. That's far too long to spend in the game. You don't need people to backtrack, and stop the backtracking. Make enemies beatable in the area you're in. Uluru didn't like that she had to grind in a previous area to beat the current area's enemies. NPCs are useless. Either make them smarter or get rid of them entirely. There really was no useful NPCs that they encountered, and they just seemed to be there for show. Why is there a medieval town almost everywhere? Make it fit. Simple is better. The entire purpose of the town is for the shop. That's pretty much what we always did. No need for extra clutter. Uluru gave the paper over to Keik, who looked over it with a nervous smile. She glanced at Puck-Puck, who simply smiled back, slightly threatening. The three sisters went back home with their mother, and along the way, Uluru felt sorry for whoever had to go through that hell of a game. At least she made it easier. Was that supposed to be a training simulation or some kind of death gauntlet? On the ride back home, her sister slept beside her, tired from all the things they did in that game. If there's one enjoyable experience, it's that the three sisters bonded closer, playing a game together, something they haven't done in a long while. Despite everything, Uluru loved her sisters and enjoyed those kinds of experiences. Uluru is so good, one of the best, one of my favorite characters at this point. This took me like an hour to read. Wow, this was super long. I wanted to do it in one video though. I thought about splitting it up when I first saw how long it was, but I wanted to do it in one. That was so good. I loved this when it comes to just Uluru. Uluru is so good. But yeah, beyond all that, I guess I'm going to end this video here. It's probably going to take me a while to get up since it's so long, to be honest. Just because of the length of time required to edit, render, and upload, something like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Uluru is the best. It also made me appreciate the other characters more and enjoy what we got to see from the other characters, but I already enjoyed all of these other characters to some degree anyway, but Uluru was the big standout once again, is like my favorite. But Top Pop is great, and I really do like Keik. Either way though, thank you so much for watching. Like if you did like the video, and comment down there to tell me what you thought of this read through, what you thought of my thoughts and reaction and all that. Subscribe for more Magical Girl Raising Project, much more on the channel. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there on stuff for the channel or talk to you there. If you'd like a link to our Discord server to talk to me or more of us about this series or anything else there, just ask and I can give you a link. And if you want to help support the channel on Patreon so that I can keep making these videos, every little bit helps. Thank you to people who are already patrons. But if you're not a patron, you don't have to worry about it. I'll still be doing my best, as best I can, for as long as I can. And just thank you for being part of this community and so supportive and everything. I love the Magical Girl Raising Project community. But yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.